رضي الله تعالى عنه قال صلى بنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلاة فأطالها. قالوا يا رسول الله صليت صلاة لم تكن تصليها، بل إنها صلاة رغبة ورهبة. إني سألت الله فيها ثلاثا فأعطاني اثنتين ومنعني واحدة. سألته ألا يهلك أمتي بسنة فأعطانيها، وسألته ألا يسلط عليهم عدوا من غيرهم فأعطانيها، وسألته ألا يضيف بعضهم بأس بعض ومنعنيها. قال الترمذي ومسلم.
Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem. The hadith we're going to do today is more or less the same things which has been discussed earlier, but obviously there's a different riwayat and or different rawis, hence the author has brought it. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wa an Khabbab ibn al-Aratti. Narrating the authority of Khabbab ibn al-Arat. صلى بنا رسول الله صلى بنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صلاة. Once Rasulullah read salat فأطالها, made it very very long. قالوا يا رسول الله, صحابة كرام, يا رسول الله, صليت صلاة لم تكن تصليها. You read such a salah, such a long salah. You never read such a salah. We never see you. لم تكن تصلي. We never see you reading such a long salah before. قال أجل. He says yes, definitely. إنها صلاة رغبة ورهبة. Really, it was a salah of hope and fear. It was a salah of hope and fear. In other words, hope in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fear Allah ta'ala also for Allah ta'ala. وَإِنِّي سَأَلْتُ اللَّهَ فِيهَا ثَلَاثًا. Really, I asked Allah ta'ala three things. I requested in the salah, I made dua, or after the salah, I made dua. So you see from this also, if you want your dua to be accepted, the ulama also mentioned, you want your dua to be accepted, read 2 rakat salah, and after the 2 rakat salah, you make the dua. Like I told you, give some charity. So sometimes you got some pressing need. So what you do, you read 2 rakat salah. It's more like, it's not faraz, not to say that you have to do it, but it's from the adab, the etiquette of salah. Inshallah, it is more closer that the dua will be accepted after you read some 2 rakat salah, right? So read 2 rakat salah, go to something's troubling you, something, you go into the musalla, read 2 rakat salah or 4 rakat salah, and then you make your dua after that, right? So this is something you can also advise people as a alim, as a scholar. People will come to you and say, I got this problem, I got that problem. What you say, go to your musalla. Yes, adopt the means, but also go to the musalla and turn towards Allah Ta'ala, read 2 rakat salah, right? And so here Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had a need. And what was his need? His need was concern for his ummah. Right. So Luqman, we just read the first part of the hadith when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was reading 2 rakat salah and Sahaba Ikram asked him, Ya Rasulullah, I never see you reading such a long salah before. So he said, Inna salatu rahbatin wa rahbatin. Salah of rahbat, hope and fear. So we are saying that from this you learn, you understand. If any person has some pressing need, something is troubling him, then you go to the musalla and you read salah. You can also, there's a different masala, we'll discuss this another time. In the salah, in sajda, you make du'as from the Muslim du'as, not from like kalamun nas, but we'll discuss it another time, inshallah. But the main thing is this here, people will come to you, I got this problem, I got that problem. Yes, you adopt the means, whatever to solve the problem, but also you say go to the musalla. That way comes in another hadith here. إذا فزع أمر أو إذا هذبه أمر فزع إلى الصلاة. I'm sure you came about Quran. إذا هذبه أمر فزع إلى الصلاة. When anything vexed Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to hasten towards salah. So yes, as I said, you got a problem, you adopt the means, but your first port of call is what? Is to read salah, right? Are you guys with me? So remember that. Just remember that, as I said, inshallah, when you leave from here, the madrasa, you will be leaders of communities. People look up to you. They'll come to you for advice. So remember that, right? So the next part we done before. وَإِنِي سَأَلْتُ اللَّهَ فِيهَا ثَلَاثًا. I want to ask Allah Ta'ala for 3 things in it. فَأَعْطَانِي اثْنَتَيْنِ. He granted me 2. وَمَنَعَنِي وَاحِدَةً. And he, literally, he prevented. In other words, he never answered one dua, right? سَأَلْتُ أَلَّا يُهْلِكَ أُمَّتِي بِسَنَةٍ. I asked him that the ummah will not be destroyed by a drought. In other words, the whole ummah doesn't be destroyed one time, right? فَأَعْطَانِيهَا Allah Ta'ala granted me that dua. وَسَأَلْتُ أَلَّا يُسَلِّطَ عَلَيْهِمْ عَدُوًا. Allah Ta'ala does not empower an enemy to destroy the whole ummah one time. I told you this is more in the beginning stages of Islam, when the Muslims were still few. But if they are completely destroyed, there will be no one to worship Allah Ta'ala on this earth. That the legacy of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will be destroyed, right? Just change the turn the page, turn the page, please, right? Right. وَسَأَلْتُ أَلَّا يَذُوقَ بَعْضُهُمْ بَعْضًا. And then I asked also from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that some of them must not destroy some. ذَاكَ يَذُوقُ literally translate like to taste. But in this context, it means that some of them must not destroy, must fight some of them. فَمَنَعَنِيهَا. And that dua was not answered. Rawat Tirmidhi wa Nasai, Imam Tirmidhi and Nasai narrates this particular right. And I told you that the biggest downfall of the Muslims is that they lack the unity. They lack the unity. If they all have to stand together, there's no force in the world. That is why Muslims are crying for the Khilafah. If all of them are united under one Khalifa, then no force will stand. I don't know if you just saw now, you guys don't follow the news. Was yesterday or was the day before yesterday? You follow the news, you'll see Benjamin Netanyahu said, we'll never ever allow a Khalifa around us in the Middle East. We will never ever allow a Khilafah to thrive. We'll never allow a Khilafah to flourish. He said that. Why he said that? Why did he say that? Why did he say it? Because if the whole Muslim world is united under one Khalifa, there's no force that can stand against them. There's no force that can stand against them. And that was the whole idea of the dismantling of the Khilafat by the Western powers. They chop up the Muslim world, break it up into small pieces. And what is the old tactic of the West? Divide and conquer. What's called turn one Muslim against another Muslim. So they're not united. So they're weak. Now you can do as you please. All divide and conquer. So unfortunately, this is the test of the Ummah, which they must rise above if they want to succeed. Anyway, read the next hadith.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله جميعا ألا يظهر
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Narrated on the authority of Abi Malik al-Ash'ari. Said the Rasul said, verily Allah Ta'ala has ajarakum halin. He has saved you, he has spared you from three things. Allah yadu alaykum nabiyukum. The first thing is that your Nabi will not make dua against you. If your Nabi had to make dua upon Allah subhanAllah, you will be destroyed. فَتَهْلِكُوا جَمِيعًا. All of you will be destroyed. وَأَلَّا يَظْهَرَ أَهْلُ الْبَاطِلِ عَلَى أَهْلِ الْحَقِّ. And that the people of batil did not overpower the people of haqq. وَأَلَّا تَجْتَمِعُوا عَلَى ضَلَالَةٍ. And that you not gather on dalalat. رواه Abu Dawud. Abu Dawud narrates this particular riwayat. Okay, this is very interesting, this hadith here, for this reason that first thing is, remember when this Allah yad'u alaykum nabiyukum. Remember, I think it was in the Battle of Uhud, you people done it, when Nabi Sallallahu was injured and his blood fell and he said, Oh Allah, please forgive my people because they know better, they do not know better. You remember something like that? So he was making dua for the enemy also that, yeah, that these people, they committed a grave crime. They shed, even though, remember I told you actually what is Ummat Ijaba and Ummat Dawa. Ummat Dawa means all the people who Nabi Sallam's Nubuwwat is addressed to them. Right? So after Nabi Sallam was made a Nabi, everybody comes, they part of the Ummah, but they part of the Ummah that not respond to the message. So they Ummah Da'wat. And those people who accepted and responded to the message, they are Ummah Ijabat, like inshallah, we are Ummah Ijabat. So by default, even a non-Muslim here, He's part of the Ummah the Da'wat. That means the message of Islam is directed to him. You understand what I'm saying? So he is part of the Ummah of the Islam, but the Ummah part of the Ummah the Da'wat. He's not part of the Ummah the Ijabat. The people who respond, it is the Ummah Ijabat. So these people, when they shed the blood, the Nabi also made dua for them. May Allah forgive these people because they do not know better. They do not know better. In other words, if they have to be taken to task for the crime of shedding the blood of a Nabi, then they will be destroyed. There's it. Right? Allah yadu alaykum nabiyukum fatuhliku jami'an. Then wa Allah yadhar ahlul batili ala ahlil haqqi. That the people of batil, they will not overpower the people of haqq. There's another hadith that says something like this here, goes like this here. You people must come across. We done it in لا يزال في أمتي طائفة ظاهرين على الحق أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والتسليم. Remember hadith again? Does it sound familiar, Luqman? لا يزال في أمتي طائفة ظاهرين على الحق. So what that hadith in this here is basically the same thing. What Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is saying is no matter how weak this ummah is physically, they can be the weakest physically, right? But there will always be people that will stand up. Now, I told you, if you look at our recent history, I mean, if you look at the early 20th century, Umar Mukhtar and those people from Libya, you must read their history. Amazing how they fought against the French invasion. I was just reading and was one post yesterday when the French invaded Algeria. How many thousands of people they killed? When they invaded Libya, how many thousands of people killed? And when they invaded Morocco, they burned people alive. They burned the ulama, etc., alive. But Umar Mukhtar and these people, the Sheikh Umar, they stood up and they fought. So in the recent history, like in my history, if you just remember when we were small, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Chechnya, then it was after Chechnya, then it was Iraq, then it was Libya, then it was Afghanistan. So and then now we know it is in Palestine. So physically there will always be someone to stand up and fight, right? Ala minhaj nubuwa. That's the first thing. And if you look at it theologically, that no matter how decadent people come, even if the ulama, if they start becoming liberal and they having interviews on TVs with ladies. I don't know if people know the recent fracas that happened. That sheikh came from overseas, and the ulama was sitting on the stage with a woman and having interviews. And people don't follow the news. You know what's happening. This happened now on Sunday. So the Molana, the alim was sitting on the stage with the woman without any parda, speaking directly to. So there was a big fracas. Ulama went crazy that they could like. Is this now the new brand of Islam that people want to bring to the shores of Islam? All the years we understood there must be a hijab between a woman and man. Now ulama that are heading big organizations, they're speaking mushafahat and muwajahat and straight directly to women. So there was a big practice now. Are they trying to bring to us this modern brand of Islam? We in South Africa, we were always orthodox and we're always liberal. And we were always orthodox. We're not liberal. We're not like in the West where we have men and women sitting on the same platform and talking. So there was a big thing there going on, right? So on the theological level, what does hadith mean? That no matter how the ulama want to liberalize, no, just move that back. No matter how people want to change the deen, but always there will be that group that every epoch and era, there will be that group that will keep the pure, unadulterated, undiluted deen. And for those that are interested, it will be there for them to practice upon. That's what I'm saying. So they're saying Allah يذر أهل الباطل. So yes, maybe the Ahlul Batil, the people that will come with a new type of Islam, a liberal Islam, free intermingling of women, men, same platform, having programs where there's no hijab, all that type of thing. They will be there. Maybe even they will be maybe physically more in numbers. People will even, but intellectually, theologically, they will not the people of Haqq will always be able to speak the Haqq and the Sunnah. So وَأَلَّا يَظْهَرُ أَهْلُ الْبَاطِلِ حَقِّ. Then وَأَلَّا تَجْتَمِعُوا عَلَى ضَلَالَةٍ. The second one is that my ummah will never gather on dalalat. So remember I told you, if you go back to your fiqh, remember we told you that your sources of Sharia are what? Your sources of Sharia are Quran, Sunnah, and Ijma. Here's your proof. Here's your proof for Ijma. Here is your proof for Ijma. That when even if something is not mentioned explicitly in the Quran and Hadith, but if the Jamahir, the people of good sound tabiyat, when they decide something is good for the ummah, That's why Ibn Mas'ud also said. So this is not only taken from one this hadith. There are many hadith. There are many hadith. Remember I told you with Anas in Mishkat, ما رأى المسلمون حسنا فهو عند الله حسن. What the Muslims consider to be good, and by Allah Ta'ala that is also good. By Allah Ta'ala that is also good. So this is your proof for ijma of the ummah. This is your proof that ijma is a valid proof in Sharia, right? Okay, read another hadith. Read that.
عن أوس بن مالك رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يسمع الله على هذه الأمة سيفين سيفا منها وسيفا من عدوها وهو أبو داود.
Yeah, subhanallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن أوف بن مالك narrating خرج أوف بن مالك قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يجمع الله على هذه الأمة Allah Ta'ala will never gather upon this ummah سيفين, two swords, سيفا منها وسيفا من عدوها, a sword from it يعني from the ummah, وسيفا من عدوها, and a sword from his enemies. رواه أبو داود. Abu Dawud narrates this particular riwayat. Tell me, what do you understand from this hadith? Okay, look at your hasha. See if you can tell me what you understand. What do you understand from this hadith? Anything? Check your hasha. Tell me anything you understand. Maybe the online people can tell us what they understand from the hadith also. Look, what you understood from the hadith.
The Muslims fight not fight
Okay, to a certain extent you are right, but you understood. Huh? Okay, to a certain extent that's right. If anybody from the online can say something, you can tell us, inshallah. What the hadith means is this here, that when the Muslims are fighting the enemy of Allah subhanahu, they're fighting the kuffar, then they won't be fighting amongst each other. Their energies will be concentrated on the kuffar. But when they have abandoned jihad, they've left out jihad, then they're going to fight against their own people. There's an interesting incident here. We're going to do this in detail in our Aqidat al-Tahawiyah. Mufti Razaul Haqiyo, he went into a lot of detail in this here about the fight, or not a fight, the difference between Hazrat Ali and Hazrat Muawiyah radiallahu ta'ala anhum. So this hadith makes me think about that. When there was a difference between Hazrat Ali and Muawiyah, the Romans wanted to exploit this difference. So they sent a message to Hazrat Muawiyah that you are fighting with Hazrat Ali, and we will help you, like we will help you. But obviously, what was the idea, the Romans' idea? They wanted to fragment the Muslims. Which we will attack Ali. We will attack Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu on your behalf. So he sent a message, obviously, you Roman dog, if you attack my brother Ali, I will be the first person to attack you. I will be the first person to attack you. So sometimes you see, like, this make me think, husband and wife is fighting, maybe. Husband and wife is fighting. They got a problem. Now, a third person come and he think, hey, this man is fighting with this woman. He feels sorry for the man. And he comes and he whacks that man and says, hey, what's wrong with you? The first person will fight with him is wife. Hey, why are you eating my husband? Why are you eating my husband? You know what I'm saying? And maybe she hit that man and protect the husband. So something similar to that. So from that we learn that when the Ummah abandon jihad, when they abandon jihad with the enemy, then they're going to fight amongst themselves. And I told you, if you look at the history, it happened many times in the history. If you look at in Spain, one of the biggest downfalls of there I mentioned to you was when the fiefdom, they call it fiefdoms, when the Muslims were fragmented, they were fighting each other and while they were fighting each other, the Christians were getting stronger and fought them. That is how, after 700 years of glorious Islam in Spain, the Muslims were driven out. So, if they were united as one force, they would withstand the onslaught of the Christians that was came from the north, but they were busy fighting each other. So here the author, I told you before, this Sharah I got here, this author is very, very pro-jihad. So he's saying here, look here, you see this. That the Ummah, as our readers, our rulers, they've abandoned jihad. And that is why we sit with a problem. And if you look today, just look today, you look at the Muslim world, I mean the Pakistani army, they've got a lot of armaments, they've got a lot of planes, but who has it been used against? Look at the last 20, 30, 40, who has it been used against? All of that, all of the Muslim armies, who has it been used against? Just study the history. Every time the army was used against Muslims. Every time the army was used, whether it's Pakistan, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it is the UAE, whether it's Egypt, whenever they fought, it was against the Muslims. It was never against the non-Muslims. Their armies are primarily against the Muslims, right? Anyway, that is the state of affairs of the Ummah. That is why we're crying out for a Khalifa that can unite the Ummah to what? That's why the Ummah today is like putty in the hands, the plating in the hands of the enemy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyway, read the next hadith.
إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه سمع شيئا فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من المنبر فقال من أنا؟ فقالوا أنت رسول الله فقال أنا محمد بن طالب إن الله خلق الخلق وخلقني من أجله ثم جعلني في خير فجعله فقد عقل جعلني في خير قبيلة ثم جعلني سيدا وجعلني من خير سيدا فأنا خير من نفسي خير
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. والعباس أنه جاء إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فكأنه سمع شيئا فقام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على المنبر فقال أنت رسول الله قال أنا محمد بن عبد الله عبد المطلب إن الله خلق الخلق فجعلني في خيرهم. Narrating the authority of Abbas radiallahu ta'ala said that he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and as though he heard him فكأنه سمع شيئا. Nabi said, right, as though, yeah, so this فكأنه سمع شيئا, as though he heard the kuffar saying something about Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فقام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على المنبر. Nabi sallam stood on the minbar. فقال من أنا? Who am I? فقال أنت رسول الله. You are Rasulullah. قال أنا محمد بن. He said, I am Muhammad Abdul Muttalib, the son of Abdul Muttalib. إن الله خلق الخلق. Allah Ta'ala created the creation, right? فجعلني في خيرهم. He made me amongst the best epoch and era. ثم جعلهم فرقتين. Then Nabi Allah Ta'ala made the people into two groups. فجعلني في خيرهم. And from the two groups, he made me the best one. ثم جعلهم قبائل. Then he made them, the two groups further split into tribes, right? Right? فجعلهم قبائل. Right? So in other words, from Ibrahim alayhi salam, there was Ismail, Ishaq, they grew, and then from them, their progeny split into groups, different tribes. فيها قبيلة ثم جعلهم بيوتا, then he made them into households like the Quraysh, etc. فجعلني في خيرهم بيتا, he made me into the best house. فأنا خيرهم نفسا وخير بيتا, so I am the best with regards to myself, and I'm the best with regards to the house which I come from. That's the household which I'm from. So that's nafsan. We can say, yeah, it means with regards to nasab, lineage, etc. So yeah, this first part is ثم جعلهم فرقتين. Allah Ta'ala made his creation into two groups. Right. So here in the Shara they say it refers to khalq, uh, two groups refer to the jinn and to the ins. The jinn and the ins. That is Allah Ta'ala created. That's why we say Sayyidul Qawnayn wa Thaqalayn. Then from amongst the jinn and the insan is the more noble creation. That's why Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Right? Then, right, so from amongst them. So yeah, we learn something interesting that you can make a note of this, that the insan is more virtuous than the jinn. Insan is more virtuous than the jinn. Or some ulama say that firqatayn here could refer to the Arab and the non-Arab, right? Arab and non-Arab. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was made from amongst the best, the Arab. And if we take it into that meaning, it would mean the Arab, if he is pious, if he is good, he's then better than a non-Arab. And then from amongst the Arabs, Allah Ta'ala made different tribes. Khazraj, Aus, all that different tribes, right? Then from the tribes, they further broke down into different buyut, like how we say household. You know, my household people, my family people. Buyut is jam of bait. And here we speak about the also is the Banu Hashim. So I told you the Banu Hashim was very much respected. The people respected them because of their courage, because of their nobility, because of their trustworthiness, because of their loyalty, etc. So they were lofty with regards to nasab, their lineage, hasab, their nobility. Just as some nice tahqiq here, the author has mentioned, if you can take a note of this here. If you look at how the Arabs were divided, one is called Shu'ub. This is now like a big group. Then Shu'ub is further divided into Qaba'il, which is smaller than that. Then a further division is Imara. Then a further division is the Batan. And then a further division is the Fakir. Then a further division is the Fasila. So here, I just give you an example of this here. Just look at example of this here. If we speak about a Sha'bun, like if you look at the tribe of Khuzaimah, that was, we say, the Sha'b. Then that from amongst the Sha'b, you had Kinana, that was a Qabila. And then from that Qabila you had, it was further divided, was the Quraysh. So Kinana was a Qabila, Quraysh was a Imara. Then it was further, a button would be Qusay. And then Qusay is further divided into Banu Hashim, which is the Fakhiz. And that will be further divided into Banu Abbas. So this is loves words that you will come across as you are going through the Kutub, inshallah. Okay, let's do one more hadith before we break and we go to the Hidayah, inshallah. I see almost 37. Just do one more hadith. Okay, interesting hadith. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن أبي هريرة قال قالوا يا رسول الله متى وجبت لك النبوة. So if you translate this literally, when did nubuwwat become compulsory for you? That's a literal translation. But what it means here is just when were you designated? When were you chosen as a nabi? Like, when were you? It was, when you got this designation that you'll be a nabi. قال وآدم بين الروح والجسد. So Adam alayhi salam was still between being a ruh and between being a body. Rawat Tirmidhi, Imam Tirmidhi narrates. So what he's saying here is that, look here, we know Adam alayhi salam came first to the dunya. And according to us, Adam alayhi salam was also a prophet. Nah? That's our preferred. The Salafis, Adam wasn't a prophet. So what Nabi Sallallahu is saying, in simple words, what he's saying is that even though Adam alayhi salam chronologically, he came first to the dunya. He came first to dunya. He was commissioned sin first. But long before that, Allah Ta'ala already commissioned me as Allah. I didn't make my zuhur. I didn't appear in the world. But while Adam was still a ruh, the ruh wasn't infused in his body to come to the dunya as yet. So long before that already, I was designated. Allah Ta'ala has made a decision that I will become a Nabi. Are you with me? So in other words, trying to show that he will be the first Nabi that no other, he was, and obviously being the first Nabi is an accolade for him. You understand what I'm saying? Because we are discussing here the fazail of Nabi Sallallahu. Yeah. So if you look at the literal translation, he was between a ruh and a body. In simple word, what means his ruh wasn't infused in his body as yet. Only once his ruh has infused in his body, then he was sent to Jannat. Remember the story? See? Okay, put the notes on. Are we on? Back on. Okay, so we almost finished. The last part of this hadith, that's what we want to mention here, is this that we know that Adam alayhi salam came first to the dunya, right? And also we know that in the alam arwah, the prophets were already designated as prophets, right? So in fact, it says, yes, in the Shara it mentions that all the prophets, if they got the nubuwwat the first time, or rather, first time, Adam, his soul and his body. Yeah, in the Shara it says that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam already began receiving the anwarat, the celestial light, the barakat, and the tajalliyat of his nubuwwat, whilst Adam, the soul of Adam was not infused in his body. So long before the others began receiving that barakat and that celestial light, Adam alayhi salam already received it. Adam alayhi salam already received it. And the ulama explain also that the reason was the mamba. He was the repository from which all the Anbiya alayhi salatu wa taslim, they got their tajalliyat and their barakat. It came from the Nabi and it went on to them. Right, okay, we're going to stop there. We're going to switch over now to the Hidayah Shareef. So we'll continue tomorrow. As for regards to classes next week, there will be normal classes or be no classes. But other than that, there will